Theodore Roosevelt once said, "The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, and spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best, if he wins, knows the thrills of high achievement, and if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat."
Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. That's the actors do.
I get tongue twisted.
All right. Welcome back to the Day Before Rehab podcast. Back with my beautiful wife, Megan. It's been a crazy week. But before we get into that, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Spotify. I'm not even sure if you follow people on Spotify, but
I'm not sure, but just do it anyway.
do it anyway. We're at 141 days sober. It's been a crazy week. Work's insane. Job's coming to an end. Anyone knows anything about construction, finishing a job from a construction manager standpoint is always the hardest. I finished my first quarter of graduate school this week.
Woo!
Woo, woo. That was a struggle. We accomplished our 100,000 meter ski.
Yes, we did. Thank God.
That was terrible.
Terrible.
The 100-mile run in January was like infinitely easier.
Definitely.
I don't know. It's like if you felt like you actually worked out.
Yeah, like running, you just like got in just like the zone. Like after like a couple miles, you just were just like, all right, another mile, and the ski just was kind of like, oh.
Yeah, there's a runner's high. There's no fucking.
Nah, definitely no ski high. Nah, just like every day it was just a grind just to get it done.
Yeah.
Just like how many meters can I ski today to get this shit done?
But like I was thinking, like this week it was like a perfect week to kind of highlight how life works. Like I went to bed Sunday with no anxiety at all, which is rare leading into a Monday. So I thought when I woke up Monday, I was gonna have a good day, but Monday was terrible.
Yeah.
I had such a bad day. Just it was everything. It was work. I had a project due. I knew I had a final due at the end of the week. I had to do the ski. And then, we wanted to do the open workout. We wanted to get down the shore. Like, we're trying to fit all these things into 1 week. And, I still had to do things for my recovery every day. And it was a grind. It was a grind. But we made a goal. We accomplished the goal. And now we're just thinking of something else to do.
Yeah.
That's kind of been what we've done. Our whole relationship was like, do crazy shit, see if it works. What do they say? Like, you throw shit at the wall, see if it sticks. Yeah. That's what we do. That's what we do. Would you agree?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. We were thinking about before how we've done so many different things in the past 8 years. That we've tried to do these things like to better ourselves. We flipped houses. We thought we were going to start a business. Like, remember the winery I was going to buy?
Oh my God. You were like wanting to leverage everything, our house, your like bank accounts. Meg, I need your name on it. Cause we get more loans for being like, what is like for a woman to own the business, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hell no, I supported and was a road dog through all your like things that you've wanted to try. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm like, I will not do it.
So a little backstory. My buddy, Nico and I, we wanted to start a business. And so I read this book about how to buy an existing business, make some subtle changes, end up, building some more equity in the house, refinancing, or more equity in the business.
Sure.
Yeah, well, it was something different because this was for buying a business, buying an existing business. So my buddy Nico and I, we found a winery in Cape May. And we were like all in. I think we needed like a couple $100,000 to do it. So
it was like $1 million or something. I thought it was a good idea.
The winery was like 1 point something million, and the only way to make it work was to not get a place down the shore. To myself and Nico each put up $100,000 for the down payment, quit our jobs, and make this shit happen. And we actually found a bank to pre-approve us so that we could look, because you can always see certain financials when you're trying to buy a business. Like, you have to get pre-approved, you have to show the pre-approval, and then you can see all the financials. And like, we wanted to do it. We were going to do it. And Nico's dad was the only saving grace, because his dad knew the winery owner, or knew someone that knew the owner, and he was like, I don't know that this is a good idea. And like, Nico loves his dad like I love my dad. And he was like, dude, my dad's not for it. I don't think we should do it. And then we're like, all right, I guess we're going back to work. Yeah. So like, we would all
thank you.
Yeah, all day at work, we were like, the job we were on was so stressful, and all day at work, we're just like, man, how can we make this happen? How can we make this happen? We got to figure this shit out. And that's kind of been my life in a nutshell. Like, I come up with an idea, and
consumes your mind like everything else.
Mind,
yeah.
And we try to figure it out and make it happen.
Yeah.
And that's been like that since we started dating.
Yeah, I forget how many. What year are we? 1, 2 years, maybe 2 years in. I can't remember. You had your apartment, so it had to be like year 2, I would think. And you were like, Meg, I'm gonna buy this house. I'm gonna flip it. And I'm like, hell. And you're like, I don't know. I'm just going to do it. Me and my sister, I'm like, where are you getting money to do this? And you're like, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. And I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea for you to do that if you don't have money to do it. Right. And you just were like, I'm going to wing it and try it. You went to, looked at the house. You took me to see it. And I was like, oh my God.
Fucking dump.
It was a dump.
It was a dump. It was a dump.
Like, wasn't there bugs? Like, food was in there.
Yeah,
I think
it was
like pizza box.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know if it was, I don't know that it was abandoned, but whoever lived there wasn't paying the mortgage or the.
No, it was, remember when we started to redo it, like neighbors were coming up, like doing drive-bys, like, thank you so much for buying the house. Like, because we really were doing, like, my parents, your dad, and everyone was coming up and helping us. And they were like, you're just making it look clean. Because I think there was renters in there. There was like dirty diapers in the backyard. Like when we were like cleaning and raking. It just was disgusting.
It was disgusting. But like, to your point, I had a goal. And, the goal is to be my own boss. Yeah. To not report to the man. And, I know that sounds stupid and silly and all, but the freedom that I think to owning your own business or creating your own destiny is what life's all about. To me, that's the American dream. And we came up with a plan, my sister and I, to buy this house, 5% down. My sister and I split the money. We got the house. Now, my sister and I had a different philosophy on how we were going to fix the house up. I think she thought it was going to cost X, but I knew it was going to cost Y.
Oh, I remember these conversations. I'm like, where do you think this is? Like, I knew nothing about flipping homes. And I thought, where do you guys think if this is only going to cost this?
Well, I always knew it was going to cost more than what my sister thought, but I just wanted a partner.
I still think you were like way below what I think you thought it was going to cost.
We got lucky. So we bought this house. My sister, the partnership with my sister didn't work out. It wasn't contentious. It just didn't work out. So Megan bought in, and luckily enough for us, I was a foreman at the time for a company, and I got a shit ton of material for free. Yeah. Right? Nights and weekends for 3 months straight, working on this place. And, we bought it and sold it in 6 months. Yeah. But it wasn't that. It
was definitely not that easy.
Yeah. Well, buying this house the way we did it, doing the work, that was the easy part for this particular property. And this is not like a real estate lesson. This is kind of like our. No, you totally just winged it. Wing dinger, you call it. Yeah, we just winged it. So we buy the house, right? Now we think we're in the flip game, right? That's what we're thinking. Like, we're going to flip houses from now on. We find a realtor who we trust. He shows us a place in South Philly.
You're missing so many details and like the first flip, like how hard it was for us.
Yeah, I think I just have I compartmentalize the hard times of things. I always look at the easy shit. You're right. The flip was terrible. The first flip.
Yeah, it was so. We were like so stressed with money. Like, I dumped my life savings for, that was initially my down deposit for my house. Eventually I wanted to buy one. So I was so scared because I basically lived paycheck to paycheck when I was at the salon. Like, I didn't make a lot of money. I worked at Charlotte Russe, making minimum wage on Sundays and Mondays on my days off. And that flip was so hard.
Yeah, because when we bought the house, we got an FHA loan because we were first time home buyers, Natalie and I. And what I didn't know at the time is you can't buy and sell an FHA house within 6 months. It's got to be past 6 months. And I didn't fucking
Well,
do
the
that.
realtor should have said something. He knew the whole entire time what you were trying to do. He should have been like, yo, you can't do it like
Scumbag,
this.
dude.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, so we're working nights and weekends. Our parents would come up on the weekends. They'd help us cut the grass. They'd help us clean the place. We had no idea what we're doing other than I knew how to get the work done, but we didn't know the ins and outs of like buying and selling houses. Like we were so broke. And we had to buy appliances.
Yeah.
Right. We had to buy appliances. We had no money. And I forget exactly what happened. The appliances they gave us, did we get shitty appliances at first?
No, the appliances were fine, but I had gone up. We were like, when you lived down in the center city, you were like, yo, they're getting delivered at this time. You need to go. And I was doing like 90 to try to get there. They never showed up. And I think it was like 2 times.
Oh, that was 2 or 3 times. That's right. They didn't show up.
They didn't show up. And then we had to buy like all toilets, like just a bunch of just a bunch of stuff for the house. And you complained to the manager at Lowe's.
That's right. Yeah. We're down at Lowe's and now it's my wife, me, and my daughter. And, you know, we're both paycheck to paycheck because every dollar we have is going to
every
this
cent,
fucking
every
house.
cent.
Like, you know, like I don't know if we thought we were going to be rich, but like we were in too deep and we had to finish.
Yeah.
And something they fucked our order up. We go down to Lowe's and we got like, I want to say like close to $3,000 worth of shit for like $1,000.
Yeah.
The manager, I don't know if he just didn't give a shit. He was just like,
He gave us like not just better than an employee discount.
yeah, it was like the sale plus the employee discount plus another discount for being inconvenienced because they kept missing the deliveries. And we walked out of there with like $3,000 worth of shit for $1,000. And we hugged each other in the parking lot.
I know. I feel like we thought we stole something.
Yeah.
We're like, did that just happen?
Yeah.
Like, that was like the best thing I think like ever that could have happened.
You might have thought like we just won $1 million.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God. Like every dollar helped. I mean, this was consuming my brain. We'd go out to eat and like I'd be going over all the things we have to do, this, and this. And like,
Oh, God, I hate it. I'm like, can we just go out to eat and not talk about
well, it was easy. It's easy for you
bad.
to say because I gotta do all the fucking work.
Yeah. I just was basically just the money guy.
Yeah.
I was like a lender.
Yeah. So this opened up the doors to like this whole world we were in for a couple of years because we didn't know we couldn't sell the house. Then I contacted a real estate attorney, who for all intents and purposes was a great guy, but he was a business guy. And you know, he never ever led us astray. He was just,
he was great.
He was a businessman and this was how it was going to work. So I meet the real estate attorney and he tells me, yeah, you got to wait 6 months, you know, but as it turns out, we put the house on the market like 4.5 months after we bought it and it sold right before 6 months, but we reworked the paperwork to show it.
Yeah. How did you find so we had, well, obviously you got rid of the realtor that sold us the house.
Yeah.
I knew someone who I used to work with's friend was a real estate agent, and then he wound up like dying of a heart attack.
Yeah, we used that guy.
For like a minute.
Yeah, we used
remember?
that guy for a couple months, and we just didn't think he was working hard for us.
Nah.
Well, and it's like
Our house wasn't like moving, wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think it might have been me and Gia or me and Natalie. I can't remember who. But I remember it was in Marcel, and they started buying houses on the street and they were selling it. And I remember trying to peek in the house to see if their house was nicer than our house. Just being like, well, they're selling it for that. Their house is so much nicer, it's going to sell more than ours.
Yeah.
Just being like worried that we were never going to sell this house.
Yeah, we were panicking.
Yeah.
We were panicking. So, but as it turned out, I did a side job with a buddy for a realtor in South Philly, and I forget what made me contact him, but I just remember the guy being awesome.
Yeah,
Dave and
dude, I love
who was the
those-
other guy?
I forget.
Big guy.
Yeah, Al.
Dave and
yeah.
Al. So this guy Dave was our new realtor, and he's like, "Well, look, I think we should stage the place."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What the fuck does that even mean?" So like, we staged it with all this furniture. It cost us another like $2,000.
Yeah, I know. We're like, well, how much is that going to cost?
Yeah.
How many months can we have? But it really did like drum up traffic.
Made it pop.
Yeah,
Then we had
definitely.
a open house, and you know, okay, so we find a buyer. And now there is like, you know, you have to go through inspections. It's not like today, not like right now where like everyone's just bypassing inspections. We had to do an inspection and the inspector kept pointing out all this little shit that we had to fix.
Damn freaking cobwebs.
Yeah, there was cobwebs in the mechanical closet, and that was on the inspection report.
We had to clean that.
I mean, they were a fucking shop vac. Like, what the hell? The inspector came out. He dropped the sewer cap into the sewer line, and that all of a sudden was now our problem. So we're like, what the hell, dude? So we get through that.
Yeah.
Right. And now that we have this new realtor, he's like, well, look, I have this place in South Philly, you know, on Dudley, 708 Dudley.
Yeah.
Right. 708 Dudley. Right. He's like, you want to take a look? You know, and we got, so just kind of let you know how the time was. This was like probably 2018, because I just started with Hunter Roberts. So 2018, we bought a place in South Philly for $105,000, a full gut. Right, the house is now probably go for $500,000.
Yeah, you got to get an architect.
So right, so, but we didn't sell the first place yet. So we go back to the real estate attorney, who we didn't know was a money lender. Right, the guy lends money for home flips and different real estate investments, and we reach out to the guy, and you know, I'm like a dog with a bone. I can't stop. So like, we were able to leverage the first house, even though we didn't sell.
Oh, I was so scared. I didn't even know what I was like signing and what I was giving away. I feel like I was like selling my soul, honestly.
So before we sell the first house is done. It's on the market. We have a buyer. We didn't go to settlement just yet, but we leveraged that to borrow $200,000 from the money lender, $105,000 for the house, and the rest for the full gut and repairs. And now we're all in this shit. We had to get an architect. We had to get an engineer because we put an addition on the house.
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
Remember the tree in the backyard?
Yeah.
There was a tree growing in the back sidewalk, and I'm like, so we had and we also had to hire a general contractor because it was too big for you. This was too big for me to handle. Yeah. I couldn't start doing any of my work until after the place was sheetrock. But it was a full gut, mechanicals, electric, plumbing, the whole deal. We had to hire a guy to do that. And I remember I'm looking at him with this tree in the backyard. I'm like, how are we going to get this fucking tree out? He's out to take care of it. And I come back in a week and the tree was gone. I'm like, oh my God, I was like a magician. It's like, that was tough. That was a nightmare.
That was. And I even remember going in there and being like, oh my God. This is bigger than the last one. And then I remember us getting the price on what it would cost us to do that. I'm like, no freaking way. I'm like, I don't know anything about construction, but I feel like I'm like pretty decent with money and like guesstimating. You
have really good common sense.
Yeah.
You can tell when things don't happen.
Yeah, you're like, this is going to be this much. I'm like, no freaking way. I'm like, if Little Marsville cost us this, and we didn't even fully gut Marsville. We only did, I think you gutted the whole bottom floor. Yeah. Maybe the bathroom, but I think you pretty much left the rooms like.
They were able to be refinished without fully gutting them. Yeah.
And that cost us a good amount of money. And it was not that much more.
So, real quick, this whole flip cycle was during the year and a half sober.
Oh, it was?
It was during the year and a half sober, because I was sober the first year and a half with Hunter Roberts the whole time.
But were we engaged?
We got engaged my second...
Hold on, it's tattooed on me. In November.
Yeah, 2020.
Nah, 18.
2018. So this was our first year and a half. This year and a half, I was. So my point is, like, I felt unstoppable. I felt like I can do anything sober. I don't have to like know the ins and outs of this shit. I'll just figure it out. And,
yeah, we moved into my parents' house.
Not yet.
You sure? Not after Marsville?
Was it after Marsville? Well, to her point, to your point, we were so broke. We never generated any income because we bought Morrisville. Before we sold it, we bought another property.
But we did technically if we stopped there.
Well, I'm saying we never like got like a
We never got our money back. Yeah. I never got my reinvestment. Yeah. And then what we made.
So we buy 708 Dudley, and we were hoping it was going to be done in 6 months, and it got done in like 7 months, but the money lender gives you a loan for 6 months, and then you get crushed with interest every day after that, and we couldn't recover, right? So
we couldn't recover, but then our realtors are like, hey, there's another house in South Philly that I think you should look at.
Right, and if we're coming off like the realtor was a bad guy, he wasn't. This guy was
great.
He was really there to try to help us. Yeah. So Now we're in the same exact boat again. 708 Dudley is done on the market, right? We get an offer, and while we're working through this offer,
I don't think it was. No.
you don't think?
No, definitely not.
It was done though.
I don't think so. I think we were still finishing Dudley, and we signed for. No, I don't think so.
Well, no, I know it was close to being done because we couldn't get the 2 houses on Mercy without paying the moneylender back from the proceeds from Dudley. So
I know we needed to finish them, but I think we already had.
they all like gelled together.
Yeah. So meanwhile, guys, we wound up buying 2 more flips.
Yeah. Well, it was what happened was 2014 Mercy becomes available. Our realtor shows us that, and you know, like I don't know whether or not Dudley sold. It
Definitely did not.
But
Not
you
yet,
know,
but we bought Mercy.
it was in the process of being done and sold, and
Yeah.
so we talked to the money lender, and we're like, we're gonna do this again. You know, you'll get the proceeds from Dudley. We'll pay off what we owe you. We'll have made some money, but we won't see it because it'll go towards the purchase price of 2014 Mercy, right? And then the realtor calls us, well, 2016 Mercy is also for sale, and they're right next door to each other. Obviously, so we're like, fuck it,
Yeah.
let's do it, right? That was crazy.
I know.
That was
With the Tony Luke's after, we're like eating a cheesesteak. And we're like, dude, we just literally have, like, what did we just do?
Yeah, we signed that we leave the realtor's office, sign the papers, go to Tony Luke's in South Philly.
Oh, Tony Luke's, what I say?
You said Tony Luke's.
Did I say Tony Luke's?
And now we have 3 houses currently. Dudley, 2 Murphys.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh, it was like, what?
Like just signing papers. Like, what are we doing? Like, just fuck it. We're just totally just like, I hope this works.
It's almost like gambling where like you lose 100, well, you bet 200. Well, then you lose 200 and you bet 400.
I feel like that's literally what we did.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like what you said, I remember us having the Mercy houses before Dudley, we sold Dudley, or I don't even know if Dudley was even on the market. Because I remember you saying, like, we have to sell Dudley.
Yeah.
We started Mercy, the first Mercy house.
Yeah.
But we couldn't. I think we started the second Mercy too, but then we had to put that on a standstill until we sold Dudley to roll that money over to finish the Mercy houses.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. So now Dudley eventually sells, and we're in full swing on the 2 Mercy houses.
Wait, this is during the pandemic.
Well, not yet, because the houses went on the market March or April of 2020.
Yeah, and the guy came to our house. He had gloves on.
Yeah. But while we were working on the house, we weren't in the pandemic.
No,
Yeah.
but when we went to sell them, we were like, oh my God.
Well, so yeah, we're like, the pandemic comes, and the whole world shuts down, and you can't even like meet realtors. You can't go to mortgage brokers. You can't sign papers. We don't know what to do. And the money lender, not my problem.
Yeah.
Not my problem. Like, you signed a contract, not my problem. And we're like, I have $0. I moved in with your family like a year before that because we're trying to figure this shit out. Like, now I'm a 35-year-old man. I'm a construction manager. I live with my wife's parents. And we're like dying a slow death financially.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
It was. That was bad. And even that, like, we were still looking, or you were, I would say you, not me, for houses for us to live in, to buy.
Yeah.
And we always wanted to live in the neighborhood my mom lived in. That was like our dream, like where we wanted to live. I wanted to be close to my parents. It's a nice neighborhood. And there was a duplex. We were like, we need a duplex. You know, we live in one, the other people pay our mortgage, you know, live like that for a little bit. It's small, it's just you and I. And we went and we looked. I just like, I'll look with them just to, you know, make you feel better. And went to look, and you put an offer in on the duplex without me knowing. And then we didn't get it. And then you offered more. And I think we were planning a wedding too. And I remember it being in my mom's kitchen talking and being like, where are we getting this money? We have no money. Like, we're trying to plan a wedding. I think I finally was able to kind of save some money with work. And you were just like, fuck it, let's just do it. Let's just add another house. And it just, oh my God, it was crazy.
It was crazy. It was crazy. I remember we saw the duplex, and I don't think the 2 Mercy house sold yet.
No.
Yeah, I was lost. I was sober. I was like, I'm an addict. I'm an addict. I'm like, this is gonna work. We just gotta keep going. And luckily, when I offered I think offered like 10 grand more than my
Yeah.
first offer, and they said no, they went with somebody else. And do you remember what happened?
Yeah, the freaking house blew up.
So whoever bought the house, now I don't know if this was a setup at the time or not, but whoever bought the house gutted the house, and I don't know what they did, but all of a sudden something happened with the gas line and the house blew up.
Yeah, I called you at work because it was a girl that I used to work with. Like, mom lives like somewhere near there. She goes, "Yeah, house blew up in your neighborhood." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then she showed me the picture. I was like, "Oh my god!" I called you, and you're like, "No way, are you lying?" I'm like, "No, the house legit blew up."
Yeah, it
and it
blew
just
up.
got finished. Like what? Recently.
Yeah.
Like that house was empty and there was nothing there next to that twin for years at that point.
Yeah, it was a few years.
Yeah.
Quite a few years. Maybe like 4 years.
Oh, God, that was wild.
How my crazy brain works. And then luckily we were able to sell both Mercy houses within a week of each other.
Yeah.
We signed papers within a week of each other, and they were off our plate.
Yeah.
They were done.
Oh my God. I think
done.
we both were just so relieved. But
I needed, like, my dad had to bail me out, and even like he passed away, and he left us a couple $, and we needed that money. Like it was like the plan we had did not work, and the unfortunate thing is, it would have worked. It would have worked. The buying and selling price was great, and the amount it cost us to use the moneylender was great. But we were a month late on the first house and 2 months late
That costs
on
a lot of
on
money.
the second two houses, and that cost us a lot of money. So we got our money back, and I think we made a couple dollars.
yeah.
But
When we bought our house, we were able to redo the home that we live in.
yeah, so we were able to we used that money to get our house.
So it was like not, in the end, it wasn't what we thought it was going to be, but we didn't lose everything.
Yeah.
So to me, it was a learning experience. And like, I know a lot of people along the way, friends, family, like being so worried, like your dad, I didn't even know your dad was even worried about you that much. But I remember just being like, my dad's so worried about Ann. I'm like, what? I'm like, really? I mean, yes. What should he be worried? Yeah, because you're crazy and he knows you're nuts. But I kind of just roll with it, and I felt like I trusted you enough, that you knew what you were doing, even though I questioned. I mean, I can't believe we're still even together. The amount that we fought during that about money, like
it was brutal.
Oh, it was just like every
brutal.
day we were just worried
brutal.
about this, worried about that, and then I think I might have went to the house to do something, and there was no workers there on Dudley.
Oh, you're pissed.
And I was so mad. I'm like, why is there no one there? Like, there should be someone there every single day, as if it were like a job, like a 9 to 5. I'm like, if you're able to, I just didn't grasp why it was taking so long when it took you 3 months. Actually, I don't even know if it even took you 3 months to do Marsville.
It was quick.
And you were there after work, like as if it was like a second job. And these are people that should have been there.
Like it was a real job.
Like it's a real job.
Yeah.
So I just was not, every time I go, like there's no, what do they even do?
Yeah, the flip game only works if you can be all in.
Yeah,
you gotta be all in all the time.
Yep, you need to do it yourself.
Like I was a young superintendent working 50, 60 hours a week already, and somehow having to buy and sell and fix up 4 different houses. It put a lot of strain on our relationship.
Yeah.
Put a lot of strain on our relationship, and it was just like another thing that we've gotten through.
Yeah, my brother, I remember saying to my brother, because I was like, should I help? Like, should I invest? Because I knew that you needed the help, like with Marsville. And my brother was like, yeah, he's like, Meg, your money's not doing anything sitting in the bank.
Yeah.
So he was the one that was kind of like, well, you invested into something. And, if worse comes to worse, you can sell it, we can live in it. So like that was kind of like my thing. Like I feel we were engaged by then, but we weren't, I don't think.
I forget. The flips were so...
I just knew that we were also...
That was another traumatic experience, these flips.
Oh, that was bad.
And like, the crazy part about it all is like, we bought and sold 4 houses, and we're in debt up to our eyeballs, and we're trying to figure this thing out. And then you have like friends and family like talking shit.
Yeah.
Like you need that, right? You got people in your life like talking shit, like, how are you able to do this? Like, we're fucking dying a slow death.
Yeah.
And questioning like how much money we have, how much money we make. That's
I know. It's almost like, how much money does Anthony make? And I froze. I actually still to this day don't know exactly how much money you make. Like maybe
right. Let's keep it that way.
Maybe like a roundabout.
Yeah.
And they were like, is that before or after taxes? And I remember being like, I'm like, why did I just answer that question?
Yeah.
And second, like, who is it anyone's business? I'm not asking how much money you make.
I would never ask that.
Like, it's just was rude.
Never asked.
You know, and I just think. I don't think when people ask those kind of questions, it's coming from a good place or like a worried place. Like, I don't think my mom or like my dad ever questioned like, why are you doing this? I just think they were just like,
they were worried.
Yeah, just like, no, I actually don't even know. Like, do you remember like my parents ever being worried?
I mean, everyone was so supportive.
Yeah, I feel like.
We had a plan. We had a here's where it comes. We had a vision. We had a vision, right? We made a goal. We had a vision, and we went for it.
Yeah.
We fucking went for it.
Whether or not it worked, and we
went for it.
Yeah, I don't regret. Even while we were in it, I don't think I'm like very regretful in life. Like, I don't regret any of those decisions we made, even if we lost money. Maybe I just am an idiot for thinking, okay, well, it is what it is. Like, nothing I can do about it. I lost a bunch of money. Like, I can't sit and fret about all that money I lost. Like, maybe a little bit here and there. It's always gonna be like, damn, I could have had a lot more money in the bank.
The deal was like, you would have, and I get this, you would have had your initial investment in your bank and you would have kept building off that investment. Instead, we got the initial investment back and only a little bit more.
Yeah.
And, it was a net gain.
It was a learning experience.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, it was just a total. I mean, I think it was good that we did it.
Well,
honestly.
and then like, you think about it on the flip side, we were able to use some of that money for the down payment on our house, and we bought our house right in the height of COVID. The heart of COVID, I guess like right in 2021. I think
May.
Yeah, May 2021, in the neighborhood we wanted to be in, and. We were lucky. We had some money from the flips that we used to redo the whole entire downstairs, do some work to the upstairs, and it was kind of like there was a silver lining to it. And then, it just goes to say, like, life's a struggle.
Yeah.
Life's a struggle.
Yeah,
And we worked through it together, and it's not easy. But here we are. Here we are. We're back on the shore, Margie. And even this situation, like these hurdles just kept coming. So we buy a house in Philly, and then a year or so later, my dad died 3 years ago. So it was the following summer, right? Summer of 2021. My wife and I think, like, we put ourselves in a position to get a little place down the shore, and we're like, let's go down and look. We're on the beach with our friend Joe. In Summers Point or Margate, I forget. We just like are on Zillow.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my God, there's a place down the street. Let's go look at it. We set it up. We look at it. We make an offer. It's in our budget. They accept our offer, and we're like, we're going to have a shore house.
Yeah.
And then the wheels fell off. We used the realtor's mortgage guy, not the guy who got us our house, who was amazing, because that was our first mistake. Because you're buying a place with a realtor, and you're like, they kind of convince you, like, my guy's the best guy.
They all say their guy's the best guy.
Yeah. And then
our realtor now still thinks her mortgage guy is the best guy.
Yeah, our mortgage guy
now is the best guy. Yeah.
So we make an offer, they accept our offer, and to even make the offer, you have to get pre-approved. We got pre-approved. And now we're pre-approved. They accept our offer, and now the mortgage guy's like kept moving the goalposts.
Yeah, he was like, "You need to pay off your car, do this." I'm like, "Who has the money to be just shelling out a down deposit for a house?"
Yeah, it was pre-approved.
Yeah.
And then, all right, only thing you got to do is pay off your credit cards. Okay, I could do that. Pay off my credit cards. And then he's like, well, no, you got to pay off your truck. I'm like, pay off my truck?
Yeah.
I'm like, when was that part of the deal?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I guess I can pay off my truck, right?
Yeah, you called me. I'm like, no, this is crazy. I remember I was in Connecticut at a hair class.
Yeah.
And you were like, I'll do this, I'll sell it, because you had, money in stocks. I'm like, do not do anything just yet. I'm like, we do not need this enough to like sell our soul.
Yeah. So I still was going to do it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So we called our mortgage guy who got us our house in Philly.
But before this, we wanted our initial. We had to put money down. Remember?
Oh, we put down $10,000.
Yeah,
you put down $10,000.
I said to you, you better call that realtor. I said, tell her that we want the signed papers to get our money back. And I'm like, even if we just get it back and it works somehow, I'm like, I still want papers in that process of getting our money back. But go ahead.
We thought the realtor was gonna protect us a little better.
Yeah, she stunk.
Again, like, when I say we put down 10 grand, it's not like we had 50. We had 10 grand and $1.
Yeah.
And we put down the 10 grand, and we talked to our mortgage guy who got us our house in Philly, and he's like, Anthony, you can't buy this house. Mm-hmm. The way it's deeded is, he thought it was funny, and he's like, you'll never be able to refinance this house. You'll have to jump through hoops to sell it. He's like, do not buy this house. So because we didn't get approved, right, we got pre-approved, but because I didn't do all the things the first mortgage guy said, we technically didn't get approved, and there's a mortgage contingency, and now by rights, by contract, we should get our money back. However, the guy selling the house, the shore house, was a real estate attorney himself, and he wouldn't give us a money.
No, and he was like the top. I think we Googled him. I think he was like the top real estate attorney and like up near like King of Prussia.
Terrible.
Well, this is like, for him, 10 grand was probably pennies. Like, to us, it was literally our life savings.
Everything we had.
Just give us our money.
So we didn't know this at the time, but Paula Hartman was the realtor.
Yeah.
And she runs the show down here. And apparently she doesn't play ball with anybody that's not her client. And, I'm calling the realtor's office. I'm begging. I'm pleading. I wrote a letter. My dad just died. Like, we just want our money back. Please, we didn't get approved. Nope. So then we had to hire another lawyer. Mm-hmm. Remember that?
Yeah.
We had to hire another lawyer to try to get our money back. And this is like 4 or 5 months down the road. Like, this whole process, our 10 grand just not with us, is with somebody else. And finally, the lawyer's like, look, just offer him $1,500, see if that'll work. And we did. We're like, can you just give us $8,500 back? And he signed the papers and gave us our money back. Yeah,
but the kicker of all that, we finally got our money back after probably 6-7 months.
Yeah.
And we were away for a wedding. And my dad's like, oh, I think you got something in the mail.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, oh, open it. I'm like, I think it might be our check. And my dad's like, oh, it's a check. I'm like, great. We come home from vacation, and, the next day, you're like, hey, can you, ask your dad where he put the check?
Yeah.
So I call my dad, and I'm like, hey, Dad, can you tell me where you put that check? He's like, oh, I actually have no idea. I think I might have threw it in the trash. I'm like, wait.
You threw the fucking check out.
Yeah, I'm like, Dad, wait. You threw the check out. Like, what do you mean that you think it's in the trash?
6 months to get this money back.
Like, yeah, I think I threw the trash. Just go through the trash. I was like, Dad, I threw out the trash. And he's like, well, what do you mean you threw out the trash? I was like, I don't know, Dad. I haven't been home for a week. Why wouldn't I throw out the trash? Yeah. So we had to dig through the trash and get our check. And I'm like it's pennies. Like, it's $5.
Everything we have. Everything we have. Well, even that, there was a silver lining in that.
Yeah.
Like, we bought our home in Philly, like we said before all this, and during this process, we re-linked up with the mortgage guy, and we were able to refinance our house in Philly.
Yeah.
For the lowest rate imaginable. And then once this whole issue was done with the first shore house, we got our $8,500 back. We decided to look again the following summer.
Yeah, we looked for 2 years. Yeah. We were putting offers in. People were just coming in.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Someone offered $80,000
over asking.
Cash. Which is wild to me.
My philosophy is if someone is offering $300,000, or this,
it was $380.
Yeah, because the house was $300 and someone offered $380 cash. Why are you even in the same market?
Yeah, no, that was so unfair. I was actually come on.
Yeah, so we would drive down the shore once a week for a handful of months. But the silver lining in it all was, as the home prices went through the roof, we were able to refinance our house a second time to help us get the condo that we have now.
Yeah.
And the condo we have now is our second home, and we love it. And there was a silver lining. You know what I mean? There's no way we can afford 2 houses at once. We can't do it today as we're doing this podcast. Yeah. So we have to rent out the shore house for the summer, most weeks in the summer, to be able to supplement our income and be able to figure it out. But it just goes where there's a will, there's a way, man.
Yeah.
We figure this shit out.
No, I love it. I always think that when someone has a second home, how do they do it? And we do it. Do you know what I mean? And we're just average people.
Yeah.
not rich
Not
at
at
all.
all. Not at all.
But like I love when I meet people that are kind of like in the same game, like either buying and flipping houses or they have investment properties. And I'm always like, how do you do it? Like, how do you?
That's the best part about you. There's zero envy.
No envy at all.
You did what? It's not like you did what. It's like, oh my God, how did you do it? Not like, you did that. Like,
yeah, because like I want that. Like I want to know how people like can afford these like big ass houses down here. Like what can I do to get? Maybe we'll probably never reach to where some of these people are. Remember when we were down the shore and Gonza's uncle rents that house.
Oh my God, yeah.
And you know, we had just bought the house. It was our first summer, and you go here, and this guy just like is super looted.
Yeah, he rents a house on the bay in Margate for $100,000 for 1 month.
Yeah, and
like,
and I was like, man, I just feel really shitty about myself. And you're just like, Maggot's never gonna have this like athlete money.
Yeah,
he's
the 1%.
That one guy had a car that's like worth more than our house.
Oh my God! Yeah, there was we went to a party on the bay in Margate, and with my buddy's uncle. Like I said, $100,000 to rent the place for a month, and his buddy there owned a business. Now he's like older than dirt and has a girlfriend that's like 40 years younger. Yeah. I'm like, this dude is a man.
Yeah,
like, he don't give a shit.
Nah, he was so nuts.
He has a watch on his wrist that's more expensive than 5 of my trucks.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, like it's just like Joe Rogan says, there's levels to this shit.
Yeah,
just levels.
But I love hearing people's like success stories. You know what I mean? Like not everyone starts off rich and is like trust fund baby. You know, like he's a hard worker. He's I think in his 60s, and I think his like competitors, because he's like the top in Philly for asbestos. Or like, when are you going to retire? And he's like, I'm not ready to retire. Yeah. They want him to go out of business because they want his business. Yeah. And it's just awesome that like even has so much money, he loves to work. Like it's cool.
Yeah, it is, and like, you know, like it's funny because like even the people that aren't close to you, people that are close to you, they always like. They question why you're doing some of the things that you're doing. Yeah. You know what I mean? The people closest to you do because they love and care about you. Some of them because they're just haters. And then you have people that aren't family that are haters. And it's like, how do you like contend with that? Because that's just life, right? Like even like when I'm in construction management, and even one of my mentors, when I told him I was going back to get my MBA, he really didn't understand.
Yeah, I remember.
Why I wanted to do that. And
like why?
I had 2 mentors, and one recommended, when I told him I wanted to go back to school for construction management, he recommended getting my MBA. He said, you'll be able to get any job in construction management you want with an MBA, whereas in addition to other jobs, whereas with just a construction management degree, you're kind of bottlenecked into one field. So I'm like, you know what, I'm going to get my MBA. And somebody really close to me who I love and respect dearly, like couldn't see why I would want to do something like that. And then it's just like the vision that I have for my life, for our lives, is more than construction. And I think the MBA is the way, right? And like that's why I think that's why we work so well. It's because like, you know, we have a vision together, and like we're putting the pieces together. And like I think one of the biggest problems with the first round of flips and how we went about things was, you know, I was sober for 1.5 years, but I didn't have a program. And then obviously relapse after relapse. Yeah. So like now the focus is different. I think now you and I are so connected in a way where like we have a goal. We want to live down the shore. We want to figure out a way to live down the shore. And the only way to do that, one, is obviously to stay sober. But now it's like to create the business plan for our personal lives to be able to accomplish our goals. And I think that's one of the best things that sobriety has given me and our marriage is like now we can actually put plans together, you know, systematically, you know, with goals and dates. Yeah. And you know, just I don't know. It just feels so much different now.
I think we like balance our we're like a good balance. Like you're crazy and just like kind of impulsive, and I'm more like the voice of reason. Like kind of like, oh, you think this is a good idea? And like where before, like when you weren't sober and we were like would have conversations and you were just like, again, fixated last year, you know, we're down here and we're always constantly looking at houses to buy. And I'm like, Aunt, why can't you just enjoy what we have? You know, like just enjoy. Most people can't afford one home, let alone having a second, you know, and I just always was so frustrated with you in the past because I'm like, this is freaking awesome. Like, we had to spend our weekends away, like away from home. And this is our, our second home. And we would have conversations, and I was never against ever trying to figure out how we could, eventually get another house. But now I think since you're sober and you have a clear mind, I think you're so much more open to like hearing me out on like why I don't think maybe getting another house is a good idea, or to maybe have a plan, and it might not be in a month, 2 months, it might be in a couple years.
Yeah.
And to be more successful, to learn from kind of like our fuck ups.
Yeah, well, it's funny that we're talking about this because we knew we were going to shoot the podcast today, and then this morning someone sent me a reading, and I have to read it to you because you haven't read it yet.
Yeah,
The reading is exactly like the kind of person I am, so I just bear with me, right? So it says, take a look at the most focused and purposeful people we know, and we'll find one common trait. Although most worked towards some goal, they all simply began without knowing what would happen, right? And then they talk about Christopher Columbus set out to prove the world wasn't flat, not discover the new world. Alexander Graham Bell was fascinated with recording and projecting human voices, not creating a worldwide communications network, right? What these people share is the fact that they started. They didn't just sit back and dream. They chose an objective and had faith to begin and follow through, despite repeated failures and years of work. We can dream and fantasize to our heart's content, but we'll never realize our aspirations until we take that first step.
Oh, I makes me want to cry. That's so great.
It's crazy because, like, clearly, we're not Christopher Columbus or Alexander Graham Bell, but that's what we do.
That's how you start, right?
You start, and like even like with the career change and the podcast and getting the MBA, and like I am putting the pieces together, but you had to start. You had to start, and the best part about like this week is like I picked back up in rehab, signed up for graduate school, and I just finished my first 10-week quarterback. So I'm officially halfway through the MBA program at Drexel, halfway through, working 50, 60 hours a week, accomplishing fitness goals, repairing our marriage, repairing the relationship with my daughter, and like, you got to start.
Yeah.
You got to start. And like, I don't have all the answers. We don't have all the answers, but the hardest part was getting started. The hardest part was the day before rehab, and now with 141 days in, we can see, we're clear, we're not making huge life decisions, but we have plans, and we're planning things together, and like, that's what this is all about, man.
It's great. I get excited when we start like just jotting down ideas on like where we're going to be at in a couple years, or how can we move down here, because your career, you can just maybe get with another.
Yeah, I give another general contractor.
Like me, it's a little different. Like I had built my clientele for like the past 15 years, and I thoroughly enjoyed like our breakfast, and we're just sitting like, how can we do it? Yeah. Like just browsing just random things. Like let's start jotting down like if I were in school and I had a project to build a business, right?
Absolutely. So this is what we think. This is how we think the next 5 years are going to go, right?
Yeah, so your 5-year goal.
5-year plan.
Which by the way, I always used to laugh about, because you had a goal board before, and I thought, good for him for like thinking that he's going to accomplish all these goals. Yeah. Like inside, I never said this to him to your face, and I was like, damn, this dude's reaching.
Well, like I did.
You did reach all your goals. It was the flips, is actually incredible.
The craziest goal I think you might have thought was I put on my whiteboard, I'm going to be a superintendent. Yeah,
definitely. Because I was like, dude, you just got in the union, like chill.
Yeah, I just got back in the union 8 years ago. And after a year of being in, I put on my goals board, I'm going to be a superintendent in a year. And there was no real reason why I would think that would happen. But I made it happen.
Yeah, you did.
I made it happen.
I mean, it's an inside joke with me, like with us.
Because I didn't know at the time. My wife thought I was crazy. Like, you're never gonna be a superintendent.
Yeah. I thought you would eventually, maybe in like 20 years or something. Like, not in the time frame that you actually accomplished those goals, which is like wild.
So, 5-year plan, right? October of next year, year sober, right? April of next year, get my MBA. While at the same time, April of next year, I want to start some sort of consulting business that I can use my MBA and what I've learned from the podcast and other people and my career, my personal experience, and really start helping people in a professional setting, right? And then we want to buy another property. And then within the next 5 years, by 2029, we want to relocate down the shore.
Yes.
So within that 5-year plan, Megan and I talked about what it would look like moving down the shore. So the next part of this process is just we got to create a plan to make it happen. So one of the things that I've learned throughout this journey is how to approach goals. And I'm not going to get into it right now, but the thought process I'm going to have when creating the business plan on how we move down the shore is, like there's this thing called, this book I read called The Ford Conversations. And in the book, they talk about, you create an initiative. What's the initiative, right? When do you want to get it done? Why do you want to get it done, right? And then the next part is, where are the resources coming from? Who's involved? And how are you going to do it, right? So we'll work on that together and we'll come up with a plan and we'll accomplish our goals, or at least die trying, like we always have. And I think if there's one thing you can take out of this episode is you can't be afraid to take risks.
No, not at all.
Whether
it's a good outcome or a bad, at least you tried. You'll never know unless you try.
I agree. You learn more from failure anyway.
Yeah.
And the failure that we've experienced in our lives have what turned us into the people we are today. From rehab to 141 days, from buying and selling houses to being broke to moving in with your parents to almost losing my best friend to this magical thing that we're calling life,
Kicking life in the dick.
Kicking life in the dick one day at a time. So if you like what we say, if you like what we have going on here, please like, subscribe, share. Trying to get our message out there, and it's a process. And again, we're putting ourselves out there. We're not going to give up. We're going to keep going regardless, because that's what life's about.
Keep on grinding.
Keep on grinding. Later.
I guess I want to end it this way.
Love you, bro.
Yeah.
We love you, Dad.
I love all of you.
We love you, daughter.
I love you too.
Wow, that was nice.
And I tell you what, let's go.